adjusting different things
Virtual
for
safety
every
car
track.
deployed. Slow down and maintain a positive delta. Virtual safety car is
What
Yes, sir. That's the feeling. Anyways, guys, welcome back to another video. Here we are pretty much talking about the average experience for anybody that might be planning to move over from F125 or try out F125 for the first time. Even if you're an experienced driver, F125 is very different when it comes to online lobbies. You'll see here, there's a couple clips that I have sped up and a couple that I slowed down. Usually I slow them down so you guys can see what people are trying to do, and I speed it up to kind of cover clip parts of the clips that don't have anything going on for them. But you will see here on lap one that there is a setting where the person was able to put ghosting on, but there's people that aren't aware there's ghosting, and people try to cut, dive others, and it pretty much becomes kind of hectic. Something you should definitely do when you are on these lobbies is check what the settings are, because if they have ghosting for one lap, as you'll see in this next lap, it turns back on and people aren't aware and they run into each other, breaking wings, running into the rear end of other drivers. Then now you're gonna have drivers getting upset and taking each other out like they are right here leading on this straight. One driver taps another one, they get frustrated, hit the other driver, and pretty much run them into a wall. As you'll see right here, there's going to be a car spun there. This is another streamer I race with, and he's very fast. The next thing you'll see is a Mercedes that just goes through an Alpine. I take the inside line. We kind of wheel lock. He should know that I'm going to go wash a little wide, but they don't care. They'll turn in. So we'll move on forward here, but you definitely want to be aware of the arrows, because you'll see me and this person pass the other driver. We keep going. That sound you just heard is a car that probably just ran into a wall because they're frustrated or they just went wide. So you got to be aware of that too. You see here on the following corner, the guy just turns into me like it's nothing. It's okay to race with the racing light, as you see, I use it too, but he follows it. There's people that just can't drive without exactly following the line, how it goes. Me knowing how he drives, I back out on this corner because I don't want to get turned in. You know, why ruin my race? Think about the future. As you see here, you got to be very aware. Drivers aren't aware about people around them. I have an overspeed. He just drives all the way to the left, like if I'm not there, you know? So you just got to be aware of that. I have a little lockup. I get tapped in the back, and I get a little bit frustrated, but I keep racing, you know, moving forward. Right here, I make a huge mistake. I will lock a little bit with the Rebel, but his teammate drives into him like he's not even there, you know? So those are things you're going to have to be aware that people drive as if no cars are there. They just don't want to step on their brake. They don't want to lose speed. They don't want to lose time. They just drive right through you. Same thing. This guy's gonna go in for a crazy dive. He's gonna jump over the curb and then not even plan to give me space in the following corner. And as you see here, we will lock and I will lock him. And I'm like, well, what can I do? The car's across me. He's not ghosted through. He goes until he's finally completely spun. So I keep going and we go from here. Me and this gentleman are pretty much racing really close. I get in front of him right before the braking zone. I kind of mess up, roll lock a little bit, but you'll see because of my mistake, I do take as much as I can to the left to let him pass, you know, because it's not his fault that I messed up that corner. I try my best. Obviously, you're never going to race perfectly. This is the last lap. People will drive desperate, and you will see right now. This guy pretty much hits me. You can see how the car jerks when he wheel locks my left wheel because he's desperate. He's trying to get around me, you know? I'm taking the corner slightly slow because I'm trying to recharge, and I do get frustrated because of that. You know, and then as you'll see in front, you see these two are going to be battling. One goes one way blocked, then he goes again to the outside. Then they start kind of hitting and tapping. One guy gets fresh and just runs him off the road, and boom, look, complete ran. And it's all because you start getting frustrated. This right here is the normal F126 lobby. Now we're gonna move over to an Abu Dhabi race that we have. This is all in the same stream. I'm bringing clips. This is what the stream was here to kind of show you guys what is kind of like the average person's open lobby. I'm a little bit faster than the average player, but I'm not super fast. And the reason why I start not like in first is because I kind of retire from the pack, so I can end up in the middle of the pack at the back of the grid, so that I can race. You know, it's mainly for the streams for entertainment purposes. You'll have things like you just saw, the guy just goes in for a straight dive, misses the apex. You just got to be aware of that and hopefully not hit somebody. And here's the famous clip, as you saw at the beginning. I'm driving and they pretty much just act like you're not there. Like completely get spun around, you know. And what can you do, you know? The other thing you're gonna find out is safety cars. When there's virtual safety cars and ghosting, this is what happens. People start brake checking each other, slowing down. Now you're gonna be pretty much like 10, 17 seconds, 20 seconds behind the leading pack because they start playing these dumb games under the virtual safety car. And that's just something that is very, very common in F126. It is very, very frustrating and can pretty much ruin your race. And sometimes they'll even break you, check you to make you break your wing, you know? So you got to be very, very aware of how people drive in this game. Now we're moving over here to Silverstone. If I remember correctly, I have a little bit of issues with the McLaren up ahead with the J Badge. You'll see he just turns in, he runs wide, and I am like, okay, there's an open door, and he just turns in. Like, I'm not gonna be there, you know. I'm already there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Luckily I was able to brake and not cause him to spin or spin myself, you know. We keep going. I'm coming past. I want you to keep an eye on that Ferrari that we just slowed down for, right? I speed up here and you'll see I'm going in for the corner. Look at the arrow underneath my halo. You'll see it just disappears, right? Why? Because the guy just cuts the whole track, and look, boom, in front of me. And look what's going to happen now. The game tells him he needs to let me pass. So he lets me pass because he overtook illegally, right? But look what he does in the following corner. Just going for an insane dive, boom, hits me. Why? Because there's no punishment. There's no damage. So people will drive when there's no punishment as if you're not there. There's no consequences. Just drive however you want. Then you'll see here, I give enough space for this gentleman, but he doesn't want to lose speeding. Look what he does. He kind of runs into me. That's not really a race incident, but just be aware there are people that are going to drive like that, very, very on the limit. And sometimes you just got to be aware that it's not on purpose. Now let's take a look here at Austria. As you see, as the race start, the McLaren on the left is going to start accelerating quicker than the Ferrari. What does he do? He goes around, but you should be aware at the start of a race, people are around you. He didn't care. He just drove out like I wasn't on the outside. He should have slowed down, waited till the next corner and passed. And watch this hairpin, what happens with the 3 cars out at front. They're all going to kind of wheel lock and spin. And then you'll see me, I kind of spun. Well, moving forward, you'll see that this guy just turns in like the Ferrari's not there. So he gets upset, and watch what he's about to do in the following corner because that guy outbraked himself and accidentally ran into him. He punishes him by what? Hitting him and spinning him off the track, right? You'll see here, this guy took the corner way too quick, hits the barrier, and now I'm like, oh, I don't know where to go. I go onto the grass, I'll brake a little bit and then hit the sign. And I mean, I went into the pits like I didn't catch a penalty, but it's a very close call, and that's just how people are going to drive. So you have to be aware of these things in open lobbies, right? Another thing you're going to see right now is coming out of the pits. I don't know if he's trying to brake check me or he forgets the pit limiter or something like that, but I have to dodge him to hopefully not hit him, you know, and then him get upset with me or anything like that. I overtake him in the pits and we kind of just get going. So now I just want to take a little bit of time to kind of let you guys know. One thing I highly recommend when you join these lobbies is check the settings, because as you saw, there's a couple of these races that I did that had ghosted in the beginning of the race, and sometimes people have them off for the whole race. Sometimes people have it off for just the first lap and then it turns on the second lap. So by knowing if it's going to turn on the second lap, you won't accidentally run into the rear end of another car. Another thing is to just be aware that people are going to drive on the limit, and sometimes they don't care if you're around them. They'll push you wide. Even if you give them space, they'll jump over curbs, and then even though they made the mistake on the following corner, they're just going to still squeeze you into that corner as if they didn't make a mistake. So the thing about open lobbies here on F126, especially for any experienced drivers coming from other simulators like LMU or iRacing, and just deciding to test it out, especially the new players as well, is drive one according to what you are capable of driving. It's okay. I think it's okay to drive without the racing line. People have different opinions, but you don't always have to follow the race line exactly. Also, it's good to practice if you're someone that drives with the racing line to drive off the racing line, to be able to actually do proper overtakes without running others off the road if you're ever off the line. You know, cleanliness and racing is just practice, and it takes time, and obviously it's something that you have to kind of just do. But F125 open lobbies unfortunately have not been the cleanest. Some people don't take it serious. I know it's a sim arcade and not a real simulator, and that's why people say, oh, that's why people drive in the manner that they do. But at the end of the day, I mean, EA is trying, I guess, their best to improve certain things. There are other things that the game does that is not even the drivers that will kind of screw you over in the process. I could always film a video regarding that, but like I said, the best thing you can do is just try to be clean, be aware, look at the arrows that the game provides. Those are going to be very helpful. When they're red, that means the car's really close. Be aware of when it goes from faint to white, that means they're getting closer to you, and just things like that, you know. These clips do come from my streams. You guys are more than welcome to go check those out to see the context of the races. You guys can always join my streams as well when I'm on. What I'm going to do for you guys right now is I will allow you guys to finish the rest of the race as you guys are looking at it. And pretty much, if you guys want to just drop a like, subscribe, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you guys have a great one. Take care.